Yes, ma'am.
Just before we commence, my Lord, Advocate Nisi,
Hello.
before we commence, Advocate Nisi would like to address the court briefly regarding the situation of Mr. Mgomezulu.
Off?
Mr. Mgomezulu.
Is it?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
As it please the court, my lord. I'm not so sure whether the registrar, the court's registrar, has received a correspondence from Mr. Mgomezulu.
I haven't, at least. Here is he.
As it please the court, my lord. I think my colleagues and myself, and the state as well, we had a letter from.
He says he received a letter yesterday. You say you received a letter yesterday. Today you haven't received anything. That's what he says.
I think that's the same letter that I would
okay.
want to refer to, my lord.
Yeah.
Yes. I think the content are self-explanatory.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Thank you, my lord. So basically, he's indicating that he had a medical advice that he should be at home up until the 4th, which would be Sunday. All probabilities will be back then on. He'll be back on the 4th.
On the 4th of this month.
On the 4th of November, my lord.
November.
Which is then next week, Monday.
So what happens in the meantime? You'll be assisting him.
Yes, my lord.
Okay, fine.
Thank you, my lord.
Thank you. Right, sir.
ukuthi-ke kunencwadi-ke singeke sibaluleke ukuthi incwadi ukuthi kodwa-ke uyileke yobona udokotela ukuthi-ke uzoba sekhaya-ke kuze kushaye isonto ngazo i-3 uzobuya ngomsombuluka ngeyi-4 zikaNovemba usezoqhubeka-ke uMr Mnisi emele ubaba uMgomezulu.
So what's your view, Mr. Sibiya?
Baba uSibiya ungasukuma inkantolo sikwazi ukuthi uthini-ke wena kulokho. I am in agreement with that, my lord.
Oh, okay, fine. Thanks. Yes, sir.
Is this on it? Yes. Thank you. Just before we continue from where we left off yesterday, Brigadier Gininda, if I can refer you to the introductory sentence that you've already placed on record of Exhibit JJ1, where accused number 2 states as follows.
Yes,
I used to work in Carltonville in 2014. Still on the subject of corroboration.
yes, my lord.
Just want to show you Exhibit DD1. DD1 is the bank statement of accused number 2 from Capitec Bank. On page 3 of Exhibit DD1, there's an address where he's employed. Can you just put that on record?
Yes, my lord. The address, it's Driefontein, Carltonville, my lord. And I can confirm indeed, my lord, that he was employed there. My recollection was his date of employment is 2009 up to 2016.
2009.
Up to 2016, my lord.
Lana-ke i-statement lesi-ke sase Capitec ne? Sase Capitec la echaza-ke ikheli noma kula ehlala khona wayehlala khona-ke uBongani Ntanzi kubhalwe Driefontein eCarltonville. Ngingasho-ke futhi-ke ukuthi-ke la ayesebenza khona-ke waqala ngo-2009 wayofika-ke ngo-2016.
regarding what you've just mentioned now, we wish to show you Exhibit DD, Annexure 2. This is the affidavit of Mr. Hendrik Louis Mulder that you've already referred to. If you can put on record what is stated in paragraph 4, subparagraphs A and F.
Yes. Yes, my lord. It says the date of employment, it's 18 April 2009. And the next paragraph, my lord, let me just get to it.
You're on the next page, the first paragraph on the next page.
Yes, and then the date of termination, my lord, of the employment is 18 February 2016.
That's it.
Employment date, yeah. And then termination date, February.
Uqala kwakhe ke ukusebenza kwakunge-18 ku-April 2009. Uma ke seyeka ke noma ke engasaqhubeka umsebenzi kwakunge-18 kaFebruary 2016.
Then still on Exhibit JJ1, the third sentence, the following stated, I received a call from Sfiso Ntuli. He got my number from Muzi.
Yes, my lord.
And Muzi being?
Accused number 1, my lord.
Lana ke kufundeka ngokuthi ke ngase ngithola ucingo olubuya ke kuSifiso inamba yami wayithola ke kuMuzi uyabuza ke umshushisi ukuthi ubani uMuzi umsolwa wokuqala.
We just want to show you Exhibit DD5. This is the affidavit of Mr. Gideon Gous, sorry, Lieutenant Colonel Gideon Gous. On page 37 of his affidavit, he attaches Annexure 3, which consists of the contacts that were found on the SIM card of accused number 2's phone. And on page 37, if you can just place on record the number of accused number 2, as well as the contact and the number of that contact.
Yes, so the number of accused 2, my lord, it's 072 505 7056. And the number of accused number 2 under the heading Muzi, it's 079 3790137.
Inamba yakhe ke ukubhalwe lana umsolo wesibili u-072 505 7056 bese kuba nenamba ke lebhaliwe kubhalwe ke uMuzi kuwona ke ama contacts ka number 2 u-079 379 0137.
We dealt with Exhibit SSS, where in the number of accused number 1 is set out. Just place it again on record.
Yes, my lord, it's 079 379 0137.
Lana ke ila bekufunde khona ke yona inamba yakhe umsolo wokuqala eku-079 379 0137.
And we've already referred to his bank statement wherein that number is also stated.
Correct, my lord.
nayo ke i-bank statement la khona ke le number ibhaliwe khona.
Triple E5. And on page 3 of the the confession exhibit JJ1, you have already placed the following information on record.
Yes, my lord.
I'm sorry, it's on page 3 of exhibit JJ1. Page 3.
Yes, I am here, my
It
lord.
says there was then a scuffle between him, referring to Karos. The previous sentence reads, Karos was about to open something when Senzo Meyiwa stood up. There was then a scuffle between him and Karos. Do you see that?
I just want to find the sentence, my lord, so that I'm on the same page.
It's the fourth sentence on page 3.
From the top.
Yes, from the top. At the bottom, it's written page 3 of 6. The bottom right.
This is what
Three.
Karos was about. Yes, I'm on the. Karos was about to open something. Yes, my lord, I'm on the sentence.
Yes. Yes, you've placed it on record already. Then in the middle of the page, during the scuffle, Karos fired 2 shots.
Yes, my lord.
Could you find any corroboration for what is stated here?
Indeed, my lord. So the first collaboration, my lord, was with regard to the ballistic report of Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, which indicates that there were 2 shots that you could pick up at the crime scene, my lord.
Lana ke kubhaliwe ke ukuthi ke kuloko kulisana kwakukhona ke uCarlos wase ke eqhumisa isibhamu amahlandla amabili. Ingabe kukhona yini okutholileke okuhambisana nako lokhu? Yebo kuyiqiniso kumbiko wakhe ke uLieutenant Colonel Mangena ekuyena ke owahlola ke noma ke isibhamu wathola ke impela ukuthi ke isibhamu saqhuma kabili khona lapho kwindawo yesigameko.
Yes, my lord. And then the other part is insofar as the witnesses that were in the house, although some of them said 3, but there are those that said they had 2 shots, my lord.
Okunye futhi ke yilabo noma ofakazi ke ababekhona ngaphakathi endlini noma nje abanye ke beshiloko noma besho ke ukuthi ke isibhamu saqhuma amahlandla amathathu kodwa ke kunalabo abathi ke isibhamu saqhuma kabili.
Thirdly, my lord, it is I think the report Messiah, which relates to the exhibits that were found at the crime scene, and one is the projectile that was found behind the jars in the kitchen, and the damaged one that was found on the floor. So that is also the collaboration of the 2 shots being fired, my lord.
Okwesibili ke okushoyo ke ukuthi impela ke isibhamu saqhuma amahlandla amabili Constable Sergeant Musia, yes.
Oh, yes.
Manje keekuseku warrant officer Musia la ashilo ke ukuthi khona ke kunale eyatholakala ngasemuva ke noma ke ngaphezulu kwalo ke ikhabethe bese kunalena ke inhlamvu yayonakele eyatholwa phansi.
Indeed, my apologies. It's Warrant Officer Musia, my lord. He was junior then, but yes, that's the gentleman I'm referring to.
Yes. And his affidavit has been handed up as Exhibit C.
Yes, my lord, although I'm not sure about the exhibit number, but
Oh, it's already
I'll
on
take it,
record.
yes, yeah,
Yes,
yes.
thank you.
Ngizokwamukela ke uma uthi ke exhibit C loyo engikhuluma ngaye.
And there's also mention made of a scuffle.
Indeed, my lord. So the witnesses that were in the house in so far, and I'm referring to the collaboration, they do indicate a scuffle that took place between the deceased and one of the intruders, my lord, particularly the one that was carrying a firearm.
Ngisakhuluma ke nalokhu ke ukuthi okuhambisanayo ke noma okusho into eyodwa nabo ke ofakazi ke bayasho ke labo bebesendlini ke ukuthi ke kwakukhona ke ukulisana okwakukhona ke phakathi kwakhe ke umufi kanye nomunye walaba abangena kakhulukazi lona ke owayephethe isibhamu.
You refer to the affidavit of Lieutenant Colonel Mangena regarding the issue of the 2 shots that were fired.
Indeed, my lord. Yes, I did.
Yebo ngikhulumile ke ngombiko wakhe uLieutenant Colonel Mangena oshilo ukuthi ke isibhamu saqhuma kabili.
That has been handed up as Exhibit X13 in brackets A.
Yes, my lord.
If you can, on page 13, if you can place paragraph 13.1 on record.
Yes.
And paragraph 14.2 on record.
So paragraph 13.1, my lord, reads as follows: at least 2 shots were fired in the house. And then paragraph 4.2 reads as follows: the shooter was most probably in front of the deceased and the firearm in contact with the deceased's chest. The possibility of an altercation or struggle between the deceased and the shooter cannot be ruled out.
It's 13.1. Oh yeah. Isibhamu ke saqhuma amahlandla amabili phakathi endlini u14.2 owadubula ke wayemi noma ke ngokombiko ke lo owadubula ke umufi wayemi phambi kwakhe umufi futhi ke nokuthi ke isibhamu leso ke isibhamu esasila kuyena ke emzimbeni noma esifubeni umufi nokuthi ke futhi ke kwangenzeka ke ukuthi kwakukhona ke ukulisana okwakukhona phakathi kwakhe umufi kanye nalo owamdubula.
Then on page 3 of Exhibit JJ1, towards the end of the page, there's a sentence that starts, "I was there for 5 minutes before they came. As I ran to the car, Muzi was standing outside."
Yes, my lord, I can see that.
You've already commented on this paragraph.
Yes, indeed. I commented, my lord, in relation to the pointing out exhibit, the photos, the pointing out that was done by Lieutenant Colonel Kadebe, my lord, where now accused number 1 indeed points or places himself outside the house where he was standing. So this was corroborated by this part, my lord, as well.
Lana ke kufundeka ngokuthi ngangilapho imizuzu emihlanu ngaphambi kokuthi ke ngaphambi kokuthi bafike uma ngathi uma ngigijima ke ngiya emotweni umuzi wayemi ngaphandle endlini ubusukhulumileke noma ufakazileke malana nalokho yebo ke ngenkathi ke uLieutenant Colonel Hadebe ehambe naye ke umsolo woqala ila umsolo woqala akhomba khona ke esho ukuthi yena wayemi lapho ngaphandle endlini.
And I think it's also mentioned in the statement of taken by Colonel Mboto, my lord, insofar as where accused 1 says was standing, my lord, outside the house.
Ngicabanga ukuthi ke nakusona ke istatement esathathwa noma esabhalwa uyena uKolonel Mboto kukhona ke lokho lapho la ashoyo umsolo wokuqala ukuthi wayemi ngaphandle endlini.
Then towards the end of that page, the third sentence from the bottom. Karos and Ntokosizeni asked for the phone and plastic container, which I gave them.
Yes, my lord, I can see that.
Ubhaliwe ke laphayana ukuthi uCarlos noMthokoziseni basebecela ke ifoni kanye ke necontainer le plastic engabanikeza ke yebo ngiyakubona lokho.
And in the previous page, page 2, the third sentence from the bottom that you've already placed on record. Sorry, the sixth sentence from the bottom that starts with, Carlos then gave me a phone.
Yes, my lord.
Lana ke ifundeka ngalendlela ke ku page 2 uCarlos wasenginikeza ifone yebo.
You want to comment on that?
Indeed, yes, my lord. So we know. So to collaborate this fact, my lord, it's based on the fact that in the statement of Ms. Kelly Khumalo in particular, she mentions two cell phones that belong to her. It's a 082 number and a 072 number. She further mentions that the 072 number was then taken by the intruders. We could, if one looked at the cell phone record, my lord, one could confirm or account for all the other cell phone numbers and the people who were inside the house at the clinic after this incident has taken place. The only one cell phone that did not go there, my lord, is the 072 that was referred to as a runaway phone, and it was picked up by the Mleleki Tower. So this corroborates, my lord, that indeed there was a phone that was taken, it went to a different direction, my lord.
Lokhu ke kuhambisana ke nento ke esinayo ke noma ke esiyaziyo ke ngoba ngokuhambisana futhi nestatement sakhe ke uMiss Kelly Khumalo la asho khona ke ukuthi ke wayenama number amabili u082 kanye no072 base kuthi ke u072 uyena ke lona ke owathatha noma iyona ke ifone leyo eyathathwa ke ilabo abangena ke endlini futhi ke ubangaba isiqosho noma itower yaqoshwa itower ibuleleki nokuthi futhi ke esibhedlela noma ke eclinic kuona onke ke amafoni ayekhona noma atholakala ke lapho eyayingazange itholakale ile u072 manje ke lokhu uhambisana ke nalokho qedwe ufundwa lana ke ukuthi ke wase uCarlos wasekunikeza ifoni.
We just wish to show you an extract from Exhibit J1. If you can just put the contents of that page on record.
Indeed, my lord, at the bottom, the number, in other words, the cell phone number is the one that belongs to Ms. Kelly Khumalo. It's 072, so it's basically 2772 938 2498. That's her cell phone number. And the date is 26 October 2014, time 21:52 40 seconds, and the tower which was picked up is Muleleki MTSGS, my lord.
Ile number ke ebeqedwe ukukhuluma ngayo ke noma ngiqedwe uyisho ke lena yakhe ke uMiss Kelly Khumalo eku 2772 938 2498 futhi ke idate ebhaliwe u26 October 2014 isikhathi u21:52 nama seconds awu 42 itower ke i3G Muleleki.
What is important to mention on this aspect, my lord, is that at this time, at this 21:52 seconds, when this phone was picked up at Muleleki Tower, all the other phones of the people who were inside the house were at the clinics, in other words, where the disease was rushed to, my lord. So you could account for everyone there, but this particular one was somewhere else, and no one could explain who was in possession of, because everyone that was in the house was at the clinic.
Manje ke lo cingo lolu uzona zonke ke incingo noma ke umakhala ekhukhwini ababekhona ke laphayana ekliniki ke noma abanikazi abantu babekhona endlini babe nawo bebephethe lapha ekliniki kodwa lolu lona ke ucingo lalungekho lalukwenye indawo njengoba ngisho ukuthi kwakuyimuleleki. Sorry,
my lord, I'm going to object to the evidence that all the phones of the people that were in the house were accounted for at clinics, hospital. The testimony of Ms. Zandile Khumalo is quite clear. Upon return from clinics, her mother's phone was found on top of the stove. And Senzo's phone was found beneath somewhere in the kitchen as well. So it's incorrect for the witness to say all of the people's phones that were in the house were accounted for at that particular time at the hospital when the 2498 phone was at Moleleki Tower.
So you say Zandile's phone was?
Zandile says her mother's phone was found on the stove upon return from the hospital, and also Senzo's Meyiwa
On there?
from the hospital, from clinics. It was found on top of the cabinet next to the stove.
It's 35111.
At 13351 Kutwana Street, my lord. That is the crime scene.
Yes, sir.
Izophikisana naloku ufakazi akushoyo la ukuthi ke bonke abantu amakhalekhukhwini babo babekubona ke ngoba ubufakazi bukaZandile buthi uma ngabe sebebuya ke esibhedlele umakhalekhukhwini kama wakhe watholakala phakathi endlini phezu kwestove kanye futhi nokaSenzo nawo watholakala khona lapho endlini.
My Lord, Ms. Fillingham specifically testified about this aspect. She did testify that, just barring the cell phone of Zandi's mother, all the cell phones, including the deceased, were at clinics. We can find that portion in the evidence. She did testify about that, my Lord.
Uyaphendula ke kuloko umshushisi uthi cha yena ke uMr. Fillingham lona ke wakwa Vodacom wethululeke ubufakazi ukuthi ke bonke amakhalekhukhwini babe khona ke lapha yana ke eclinics ngaphandle nje kwakhe umakhalekhukhwini wakhe ke uma kaZandile ufaka futhi nomakhalekhukhwini wakhe umufi bathi ke bazobheka lokho ukuthi kukuphi nendawo kodwa wakusho uPinki.
We'll find that.
Yeah, you'll have to check, Mr. Ramsipi, please check that.
Yes, but we can put our head on the block about that aspect, yes. Right.
Sorry, this I don't know. I recall Pinky Billingham did mention the distances. Did she mention the distance in her evidence about the phone, the so-called phone of Miss Kelly, that it was found, it picked up the Moleleki Tower?
Yes.
Did she mention the distance from the house,
Crime scene
13511, to the Moleleki Tower? What's the distance?
Yes, she did mention
She did.
that. Yes.
You remember the dimensions? I remember her saying that. Anyway, you have to check that also. Anybody can assist. Are you aware of that evidence?
I did give the dimension. In my recollection, I think it's about 6.3 kilometers from the crime scene to Moleleki Tower, madam.
Is that so?
But we'll have to verify it.
6.3. Okay, fine. No, it's just just strikes me. And the direction, we never checked the direction of the Moleleki Tower in the evidence. Was there a check of that? That the Moleleki Tower was east or south or north of 3.5111 Kutwano Street house. That was never canvassed. Ne?
Yes. Well,
Yeah, and I'm just asking.
Not the directions. I think she spoke about the
distance only.
yes.
She didn't say east or west or south or north.
No, my lord, not.
Okay, fine.
If I may say, when she was testifying on this aspect, she
Oh.
was looking at this map.
That's
if I
it,
may,
yeah.
And she said Moleleki Tower is down here, but she didn't specify the down here.
Yeah, fine.
Which direction is that?
Okay. So, but the direction there, are they not shown on that
No.
map?
No.
Okay,
She only
fine.
spoke about sectors, but
Yeah,
not,
fine,
not,
fine,
not direction. Then exhibit triple J7 in brackets A. It's Moleleki SGS to crime scene.
Yeah.
The distance is about 6.3 kilometers to the crime scene.
Okay, fine.
All right, we can then continue from where we stopped yesterday afternoon.
Yes, my lord.
It was towards the bottom of page 3. You can start there where it says Karos and Ntokozizeni. It's the third sentence from the bottom.
All right, it reads as follows, my
Yeah,
lord.
maybe just, sorry, just start where it says we drove away from the scene. Just a sentence before that. It's the fourth sentence from the bottom.
Oh, yes, my lord. So it reads as follows. We drove away from the scene. While driving, Karos and Mthokoziseni asked for the phone and plastic container, which I gave them.
Yes. Yes.
Karos then said, here is my watch. We drove to the hostel and went straight to room 1B. Karos then pointed to Sifiso and said he must warn me if any word comes out that they were involved, then he will kill me.
Okay. Sase sihamba ke noma sisuka ke lapha kwindawo ke yesigameko sathi sahamba njalo ke uMthokoziseni kanye naye ke uCarlos base bethi angibanikezeke I should give them or they gave me, sorry. Sure. It's this page.
Plastic container.
Or bathi angibanikeze ucingo kanye futhi ke necontainer engabanikeza ke yona ke sahamba njalo ke uCarlos wase ethi ke nali iwashi lami sahamba ke saya ehostel and saya ke futhi kwikamera noma ke kwa room 1B. uCarlos wase ekhomba ke kuSifiso emtshela ukuthi akangiqwayise uma ngabe nje ngingakhuluma ke noma ngisho ukuthi bona ke babe yingxenye uzongibulala.
Yes?
Yes, should I proceed?
Do you wish to proffer a comment regarding these threats?
The only collaboration that I can refer to, my lord, is the report I got from Constable Zungu, where he indicated that he was threatened. And it's contained in his statement, my lord.
Yes.
So there were threats that were brought to my attention, and it specifically mentions accused number 1. It related to accused
Yes.
number 1, my lord.
You've already placed that on record. Sir.
Mayelana nalokho kukhona yini ongakusho? Yebo ngakusho ukuthi ke ngangitsheliwe uyena ke uConstable uZungu ukuthi ke kukhona ke ukusatshiswa futhi ke washo ke ethi ke ekhuluma ngaye ke umsolwa wokuqala. Yilokho engakusho ekhambisana nalokho engiqeda ukufunda la.
Yes, and secondly, my lord, just maybe on the previous point, my lord, of the cell phone location. Of the people who were in the house, my recollection is still that the phones were picked up there, but I am open for confirmation, my lord, of Mrs. Kumalo Senior, meaning Kelly's mother Senior, just to confirm that aspect. But what I can say, because it's confirmed by affidavits and all things that have been disclosed even to the defense, that everyone that was in the house was at the clinic, because there were activities as to who said what and did, So, but the issue of the phone that is raised by Mr. Ramsipil, I think one will want to confirm it, because my recollection, he might be correct, my lord, in essence, but I will want to confirm it.
Ngingafuna ukuthi ngiqinisekiseke lokho eqedwa ke ukushiwo noma ukukhulunywa ke uyena ke uMr. Ramsipile mayelana ke nocingo lwakhe ke uMakhumalo ekuyena ke umama kaZandile noKelly Khumalo ukumayelana nocingo lwakhe ke ngingafuna nje ukuthi ngikubheke ngiqinisekise lokho.
I think I recall Zandile said her mother's phone was being charged.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yes, old man remembers. It was on a charger.
Yes. And regarding the objection that has been raised by Mr. Ramsipili, we just want to refer to Exhibit Triple J1. page 362. If you can just place on record the number on the left-hand column and the towers, as well as the times, starting from 21:55 and 43 seconds.
So it's the number, it's 071, my lord, 437. Four, 3, 9, 8. The writing is so small here, my lord. 4379831. Yes. 9831.
Do you recognize that number?
Well, not in person, my lord. I wouldn't know from
Well,
the top of my head.
It's already on record that it's his cell phone number.
Okay, my lord. Yes.
Le number ke sorry, le number ke engibizwayo ke la noma ebhaliwe xa ngibheke u0714379831 ingabe uyayazi yini? Cha, angiyazi. Sekukhulunyiweke lokho la inkantolo ukuthi ke inumber yakhe umufi. Sorry.
And the date, my lord, is 26 October 2014. Time 58 minutes 43 seconds.
I-date kange-26 zika October 2014, isikhathi u-21:58 nama-seconds awu-43.
And the tower location was Dinix Phosphorus, my lord.
Futhi ke i-tower eyayixosha kwakuyi-Clinics ePhosphorus.
Yes, and the
This-
next entry.
The next entry is the same number, my lord, and the date is still the same, 26 October 2014. Time 21:58:52 seconds. It's a MTC, and the tower is still Linux Phosphorus, my lord.
Futhi ke si elandelayo ke kuse le number eyodwa futhi i-date kuseyiyona isikhathi u-21:58:52 uhlobo ke lo colleague ke i-MTC khona ke e-Clinics ePhosphorus.
The third one, my lord, is still the same date, 26 October 2014, time 21:56:57 seconds. It was CF, call forward, my lord. It's the same tower at Linux Phosphorus.
Kuseyileyo number ke ngazo i-26 lezo ke isikhathi u-21:56 nama-seconds awu-56 you call forward isekhona ke e-Clinics ePhosphorus.
The next entry for the same number, my lord, it's 26 October 2014, time 21:58:43 seconds. It's MTSMS, and the tower is still Linux Phosphorus.
Okulandelayo ke ngayo leyo date leyo isikhathi kuseyileyo number eyodwa u-21:58 nama-seconds awu-43 i-MTSMS khona ke e-Clinics ePhosphorus.
Then the same number, also on the same date, 26 October 2014 at 21:59:26 seconds. MTC, it pick up the location in the same Linux Phosphorus tower, my lord.
Kuseyileyo number eyodwa ke futhi ngazo i-26 isikhathi u-21:59:26 i-MTC khona ke e-Clinics ePhosphorus.
Then the same number again, my lord, on the same date of 26 October 2014, time 22:01:40 seconds. MTC picks up the tower still at Linux Phosphorus.
Leyo number futhi ke ngazo i-26 lezo isikhathi u-22:01 ama-seconds awu-40 MTC khona e-Clinics ePhosphorus.
Next entry, my lord, for the same number is still 26 October 2014, 22:02:31 seconds. MTC picking up the same tower, 3G Linux Phosphorus.
Kuseyileyo number ngazo i-26 isikhathi u-22:02 31 i-MTC khona ke i-3G e-Clinics.
Then the very same number again, my lord, date 26 October 2014, 22:04:02 seconds. CF, call forward. The tower that is being picked up is still 3G Linux Phosphorus.
Leyo number futhi ke eyodwa ngazo i26 October 2014 isikhathi u22:04 ama-seconds amabili i-call forward khona ke itower i3G eclinics.
Has it got clear? Until what time is the device at clinics?
Well, my lord, the
What is the
entire
last entry?
the last entry of the same number is picked up still on the same date, 26 October 2014, 22:26, 38 seconds. It was still at clinics for Soras, my lord.
Iyabuza ukuthi ke kwaze kwashaya siphi isikhathi leyo number noma leyo makhalekhukhwini lawo usebenza ke okugcina ke la iqosha khona ke noma ke isebenza khona ke iyo leyo date leyo isikhathi 22:26 ama-seconds awu-38 khona ke eclinic le ephosphorus.
That's fine. I'm told by Mr. Ramusipili that he's no longer persisting with the objection.
Oh, is that so?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Yes. Then to come back then to exhibit JJ in bracket 1, you can just continue from where you left off.
Yeah, my lord. So
It's on page 4.
here's my watch. What's that? Then it continues as follows, my lord. Carlos then point. Okay, I've covered this painted thing and said this must never come out with tell me. Carlos and Sifiso then ordered me to go to the kitchen. The four of them, Carlos, Mapisa, Sifiso, and Muzi, remained in the bedroom, and they closed the door.
Muva kalokho ke uCarlos kanye noSifiso ke base bengitshela ukuthi angihambe ngekitchen bona ke bewu4 uCarlos uMaphisa uSifiso kanye noMuzi basala ke ekamereni.
Sifiso then came up.
Basala ekamereni base ke bevala ke nesicapha so.
Yes. Sifiso then came out and gave me 15,000 rands. I was
Shivering.
I was shivering since I was not involved in something. I was involved in something before. I was, my lord, I'll read it as it is, as it's written. I was shivering since I was not involved in something before we all left the hostel in the Polo Vivo at the stop sprayed Mapisa and Carlos got into Adam Polo Vivo vehicle and left during the drive to the stop street from the hostel. Carlos kept on pointing his finger at me, threatening me. He was also swearing because I was visibly frightened. I forgot to mention before then. Pointed
Before they parted ways,
Before they parted ways, the four of them first had a
meeting.
Had a meeting outside the vehicle. I also forgot to mention that Mtogoziseni asked Carlos at the hostel, "Are you sure you really hit him?" At the stop sign, he pointed me with his finger, saying, "I am telling you, you will shit." And he said, a deal is a deal. He also said, if he hears anything, he will kill me. He doesn't know me. Parental home, but Muzi knows and he will show him. He doesn't know my parental home, but Muzi knows and he will show him.
uSifiso wase ezake waphuma ke wazomnikeza imali ewu15,000 ngangingangazela ke ngoba ke angikaze ngaphambilini ngaba yingxenye yento enjena sahamba sonke ke sisuka lapho ehostel sihamba ngayo iPolo Vivo uma sifika ke kwi stop street uMaphisa kanye noCarlos base bephuma ke bengena kwenye iPolo Vivo bahamba sisahamba njalo ke masifika kwi stop street ukusuka ehostel uCarlos njalo nje wayengikhomba ngomunye engisabisa futhi ke engithuka nongithuka ke ngoba ke kwakubonakala noma kwakucacile futhi ukuthi ngangisaba ngikhohliweke ukuthi ngisho ukuthi ngaphambi kokuthi bahlukaneke bona ke bona bobani baqale baba nomhlangano ngaphandle emotweni ngikhohliwe futhi nokusho ukuthi uNtokoziseni wabuza kuCarlos ehostel unesiqinisekiso sokuthi umshayile yini uma sifika lapho ke ku stop sign wangikhomba ngomunwe wakhe esithi ke ngiyakutshela
Yes, do you wish to proffer comment?
Sorry. Esisho futhi nokuthi ke ideal washo futhi ke nokuthi uma ngabe nje ezwa uzongibulala ngoba ke esho ukuthi akazi ukuthi ekhaya kukuphi kodwa ke umuzi yena uyazi futhi uzomkhombisa. Sorry.
Yes, my lord. The collaboration that I got is that there seems to be mention of money paid to accused number one insofar as his confession statement is concerned, and it is the same with the confession with this exhibit, my lord, in relation to the confession made by accused number two. That's the first part.
Okokuqala ke engikwaziyo ke mala nezinto ke ezihlanganayo kule inkulumo lezi ukuthi ngiyazi ukuthi ku statement esakhe ke umsolo wokuqala uyasho ke lapho naye ke noma uyakhuluma ke ngokukhokhelwa imali nalana ke manje siyabona kulesi statement esakhe umsolo wesibili naye ke uyakhuluma ngokukhokhelwa imali okokuqala lokho.
The second thing, my lord, the assertion or the question as to whether are you sure you hit him gives an indication, as I said to the court at the beginning, my lord, that this case looked like a robbery gone wrong. That was based on the preliminary investigation and the statements that there were people who came in, demanded money and cell phone, and a struggle ensued. So it looked as a robbery gone wrong. Until then, these confessions were found, which then changed the direction that this was a contractual killing. So this statement, the assertion, or rather the sentence that says, are you sure that you hate him? For me, yes, simply corroborated that assertion that there was an intention to eliminate the disease, my lord.
Ngishilo ke ngaphambilini ukuthi ke uma uqala ke uphenyo noma ngiqala ke ngophenyo ke esasikuphenya ke noma ngakubheka ke lana ukuthi ke kwaku abantu ke babezobamba ke inkunzi ke kodwa lokho akwahamba kahle ke kodwa manje uma sekuvela le statement ezimbili ke zona ke yila esekwashintsha khona ke manje nokubheka ke uphenyo ngoba ke kwacaca ke kuyona ke ukuthi cha kwangasibona abantu abeziye ngenhloso ukuthi ke bazobamba inkunzi kodwa ke babeze ngenhloso ukuthi ke ukhona ke lo ezobulawe futhi ke nale statement lesi noma lo mbuzo lo oshoyo ukuthi unesiqiniseko yini sokuthi wamshaya noma umshayile ukukhombisa lokho.
I've already dealt with the threat, my lord, insofar as the report I got from Constable Zongo, my lord.
Bese ngikhulumile ke ngokusabisa mayelana ke nawo umbiko engawuthola kuyena uConstable Zungu.
Have you had sight of the postmortem report?
Yes. During the preliminary stage, my lord, and this is at the stage when I said was basically on a fact-finding mission to establish as to what direction the investigation must take. During that period, one then had sight of the PM report and all the reports, basically, my lord, that were in the statement. That were contained in the docket.
Ingaba wabona yini ke umbiko wedokotela okuyena ke owaye zama ukuthola ke noma ukubheka ukuthi kwakuyini ke noma kwakuyini eyaholela ekuthini umufi ashoneke phecelezi-ke lo kuthiwa i-postmortem, yebo ngawubona-ke noma ngawubheka-ke lowo mbiko lowo kanye nayo yonke eminye imibiko-ke eyayikhona-ke kwidokodo ila umuntu wayefuna ubheka khona-ke ukuthi-ke uphenyo-ke iluphi uphenyo ekufanele ukuthi lwenziwe.
My Lord, I just want to also substantiate this part, that when one look at the cold case analysis, that analysis at that stage, it is not to assume a role of the disposers of the statement. It's basically to get guidance, because you need to get guidance in terms of what happened at the crime scene when the said allegation or offense was committed. Now, when you have to do that, you have to read each and every statement and evidence that is in the docket, because you can only get guidance in terms of the direction you must take by equipping yourself with the information that is contained in the docket at the time. And you can therefore not be selective in terms of what you want to read and leave out. If you do that, you are bound to go to the wrong direction. So you simply read the facts which are corroborated by witnesses, objective evidence like your PM report, your ballistic reports, all the experts that did. You read that to simply get the analysis. So I read the PM report on that context during the phase of establishing whether they were intruders or not.
Futhi-ke okwenzekayo-ke noma-ke engifisa ukuthi ngikutsheleke ngikwazise inkantolo ukuthi-ke uma ufunda-ke itatimende akusibona-ke ukubheka-ke ukuthi-ke labo-ke kuyibona benze itatimende kwakuyini-ke noma benzani bona, kodwa-ke yila uma ngabe ufuna ukwazi-ke ukuthi kwenzekani noma-ke ufanele uye ngakuluphi-ke uhlangothi kuphenyo lwakho, awukhethi-ke ukuthi cha lesi statimende ngizosifunda ngizosiyeka lesi ngifunde lesiya, ufunda konke okukhona kwidokodo. Ilapho-ke manje usuzothola khona-ke umkhombandlela ukuthi uphenyo lakho luya ngakuluphi uhlangothi.
Dr. Steenekamp, the pathologist who performed the post-mortem report, has already testified, and his report has been handed up as Exhibit L. I just wish to draw your attention to page 2 thereof, if you can just place on record the cause of death.
It says, my Lord, consistent with the bullet wound of the chest involving the heart and lung.
Lana-ke uma echaza-ke noma-ke esho-ke udokotela ukuthi-ke kwakuyini-ke imbangela yokushona kwakhe, inhlamvu-ke noma-ke ukumala okushaywa-ke iyona-ke inhlamvu ungena-ke esifubeni futhi-ke kuzona-ke iphunga.
You want to proffer any comment regarding the contents of it?
My Lord, I do recall that in this Exhibit JJ, somewhere the deponent does indicate that the second shot, if I'm not mistaken, went off while the firearm was pointed at the chest of the deceased. Now that is consistent and it corroborated by the people who were inside the house who saw what was happening during the struggle. It's then consistent also with the PM report that we just saw. And there's also markings where the pathologist indicates that the wound, the entry wound, was in front and it exited at the back. But the critical point or the important part is the entry wound that was on the chest. But furthermore, Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, when he was doing his reconstruction back in 2014, he also made a comment with regard to the entry wound. Then thirdly, my Lord, there are post-mortem photos that were taken when the post-mortem was done, I think on the following day, on the 28th. And they clearly show that the entry wound was indeed on the chest of the deceased, my Lord. So there's that collaboration.
Lana-ke okuhambisana-ke nakho lokho engiqeda ukufunda ukuthi udokotela wathini-ke okwaba yimbangela yokushona kwakhe, kukhona-ke la ofakazi-ke abakhona-ke ababekhona phakathi endlini abashoyo-ke ukuthi-ke wadutshulwa-ke esifubeni, kanye futhi-ke nestatement lesi esifundayo manje-ke exhibit JJ naso-ke uyasho-ke lo unikeza ngalesi statement ukuthi-ke washaywa noma-ke wadutshulwa-ke esifubeni, kanye futhi-ke naye uLieutenant Colonel Mangena washo-ke naye ukuthi-ke umufi wadutshulwa noma washaywa-ke khona esifubeni. Sikhona futhi ney'thombe zayo-ke i-postmortem ey'khombisa bona lokho.
My Lord, this is really not an objection, but is to correct what the brigadier said, that in Exhibit JJ, that's where it is deposed that accused number 2 says the deceased was shot on the chest. According to the statement, and I read at page 3 of 6 of the annexure to JJ, it says, I didn't see where Senzo was hit because when the shots were fired, I went outside. So there's no way where accused says, I saw that the deceased was shot on the chest.
Okay. I feel my learned friend was just a step ahead of us. We're just on the point of referring to Exhibit HH in bracket 1, which you've already referred to. The last sentence, just put it again on record. Last sentence going into the following page.
And okay, it says, as the firearm was pointed at his chest. That's what it says, my lord.
Lana ke okubhaliwe ke lana exhibit JJ lena nanjengoba isibhamu ke lesi sasikhonjwe esifubeni sakhe.
And the assertion I made, my lord, was in relation to this, my lord.
Futhi ke lokho bengiqeda ukukhuluma ke bekumayela nako lokhu oqeda ufundwa la.
And if we can just revisit one aspect on page 4 of Exhibit JJ. The first paragraph, you've already placed that on record. Carlos and Sifiso then ordered me to go to the kitchen. The 4 of them, Carlos, Mapisa, Sifiso, and Muzi, remained in the bedroom and they closed the door.
Yes. Yes, my lord.
We'll come back to this aspect.
Okay, man.
We just wish to refer you to the record of the 7th of September 2023, page 20, line 24 to 25, as well as page 21, lines 1 to 3.
Yes, my lord. So it reads as follows, my lord, under Mr. Zungu. He was wearing a black jacket, and then Kwabini requested me and said, Uncle, may I please speak to these gentlemen? They are leaving. They are going now home. I did exactly that and went out. As I went out, I saw Mapisa standing there at the corner.
Mafika.
Is it Mafika? Oh, yes. Mafika standing there at the corner. My apologies, my lord.
Lana ke istatement esikaZungu lesi noma ubufakazi bukaZungu wayegqoke ijacket eyimnyama wase uGwabini engicela ke ethi malume ngiyacela ke bengicela ukukhuluma nalamadoda bayahamba sebaya ekhaya ke manje ngenza kona lokho ke ngase ngiyaphuma uma ngiphuma ke ngabona umafika emi khona lapho ekhoneni.
Thank you. Malatas, it's almost time for the short adjournment.
Okay,
Can we
fine.
take the short adjournment?
15 minutes then.